How frustrating is it for you that you put together literally a super group and it just hasn't hit the way I'm sure you guys thought it was going to?
Well, I've always had low expectations, which I do about everything because that's just the way I approach stuff. But the record itself kind of happened really naturally and just out of like, hey, let's write some tunes, and then we wrote a couple, and then we wrote a couple more, and the next thing you know, we had enough for a record. So we're like, let's just make a record. So it was kind of, to me, it was real honest in from that perspective. We wrote some killer tunes, and it just made sense to record them, and put them out. Just because you're a bunch of known guys doesn't mean you have an obvious success level that's going to
Sure.
happen. Um, there's the whole marketing and trying to convince people, is this a real band or what is this? Is this a project? That was a big issue for people, including people internally. And it was like, look, why are we worried about this? Like, let's just put a record out. I mean, I know there's the marketing aspect from the label and the management, but like I'm a musician, man. My goal is to just write songs, and if they're great, we should record them, and as simple as that. So that was my approach the whole time. The record got great critical acclaim. I mean, James Hetfield said it was one of his favorite records.
Yeah.
You can't get better than that. So,
Right.
like, the reality is that it just doesn't mean you have a sure shot. And everybody is busy in this band. We had a lot of conflicts scheduling wise because everyone's doing other things because everyone's on other bands. You know, Demos and Kerry King and Bittner played with Overkill at the time, and he has
Mhm.
Shadows Fall. And it's just like we're busy. And Michael Orlando is an engineer who records and does a lot of engineering. So, like, it's not like we had some easy thing. So we found 3 weeks in America. We're like, we could do this. And then, maybe some people got cold feet. And you know what? We should have done the shows anyway. Even if there was 100 people at every gig, quite frankly, we should have done them. It was a mistake. We should have done it. We would have had shows that were going to do better than that, of course. But we might have had a couple stinkers, as we call them
Sure.
sometimes. And so what? And we should have done them. That was a mistake. And then South America, that was just a bad idea because we really didn't have a legitimate person promoting the shows and South America, and I love South America. It's one of the best continents in the world as far as fan base goes. But you still want to do things correctly, and if you don't, you run a risk of going there and making mistakes. And it's a long way to go, and it's could be real dodgy. So that was a mistake, and we shouldn't have done that. But in retrospect, it doesn't really matter. The record is a great record, and I'm really proud of it. And we move on, keep going, and now we're going to do this thing, and we're going to, like I said, piggyback with this Anthrax thing, just for at least these three shows. I don't know what the future holds. I really don't.
Okay.
Just going to find out what happens. We're going to kind of go along the way and see what comes up out of all this. But for now, this is what we're doing, and I think the shows are going to be great. I mean, the ticket sales have already been really great for these
That's
shows.
great.
So, we'll just we'll figure it out as we go. Sometimes I do that a little too much, and it doesn't always bode well. But what
Right.
are you gonna do? Like that's kind of the way I roll sometimes, and these shows are going to be great.